Okay, today we're going to talk about, in this video, we're going to talk about Jesus and his suffering. I think we need to all really need to know how bad he suffered for us, for each one of us, for you and for me. Put it into perspective and to really think about what he went through just for us. And he laid down his life and wanted to do this. He didn't have to. He wanted to, because he loves you and he loves me, and he loves you personally. Anything that you're going through, he wants you to come to him. He went through all of this stuff just for you personally. So why did Jesus have to suffer so badly? And what is the reason for Jesus' suffering? Our forgiveness of sin was bought through the death of Jesus Christ. As God and the only perfect man, Jesus' death paid for our sin, paid for my sin, sins of the world, and your sin. He had to die for us, because if he didn't, we would all be going to hell. And it says, why? And you might wonder, but why did he have to suffer so much before he died? The Bible is descriptive about Jesus' suffering. The abuse began in John 18, and that says, after saying these things, Jesus crossed the Kidron Valley with his disciples and entered a grove of olive trees. Verse 2 in John 18, Judas, the betrayer, knew this place because Jesus had often gone there with his disciples. And the leading priests and Pharisees had given Judas a contingent of Roman soldiers and temple guards to accompany him. Now with blazing torches, lanterns, and weapons, they arrived at the olive grove where Jesus was and his disciples. The Roman soldiers and temple guards, when they got there, they stood there, and Jesus said to them, "Who are you looking for?" And they answered, "Jesus of Nazareth." And Jesus said, "I am he." And Jesus said, "I am he." And then they all drew back and fell on the ground. Now, when Jesus said, "I am he," all those Roman soldiers drew back and fell on the ground. Once more, he asked them, "Who are you looking for?" As they probably got up. It was so powerful, Jesus said that. Again they said, "Jesus of Nazareth." And he said, "I told you that I am he." So that's a little bit about what happened when they were coming to get him. So when they came and got him, they took him to the high priest. And Jesus answering the high priest's question, pointing out that Jesus did everything openly. The high priest said, "What is the truth? What is your doctrine? Do you claim to be Messiah? Do you claim to be the Son of God?" And Jesus said, "I have spoken openly. I wasn't in secret. I did it all openly. Ask those who heard me." And then one of the officers nearby, Jesus, struck Jesus for what he thought was a disrespectful answer to Pilate. Pilate then interviewed him, Jesus, finding nothing that he could charge Jesus with legally, he offered the Jewish authorities to let him go. And they refused and insisted Jesus be crucified. The soldiers were given free rein to do whatever they wanted to Jesus. That was their custom, to just do whatever they wanted. Whip them, flog them, whoever. They just did this to everybody. They twisted a crown of thorns from a vine with very long, sharp thorns and put it on Jesus' head. These thorns are about inch and a half or 2 inches long, and they shoved it down to his skull. They flogged him viciously, very viciously. They hit Jesus repeatedly in the face with their hands, with their clubs, with anything. They plucked his beard out. Jesus was then made to carry the heavy cross to the hill of Golgotha, where the soldiers nailed his hands and feet. The next several hours, Jesus experienced such pain that he died long before what was standard for crucifixion victims. There's a speculation as to how the suffering came about. Pilate didn't want to crucify Jesus in the first place. Jesus was innocent, but Pilate had to make a show that he was following the will of the Jewish leaders, or to risk rebellion by letting Jesus go. Some believe Pilate had Jesus tortured in hopes that it would satisfy the Jews and they would back down from their request to kill Jesus. But that didn't happen, obviously. There is nothing in the Bible that directly states this was Pilate's intent. But it did have one unexpected benefit: the loss of blood and general agony caused by the scourging left Jesus so weak that he died on the cross within hours. Instead of either hanging there for days or forcing the guards to break his legs, as they did the thieves, Jesus died of asphyxiation. There was many things wrong with him because of the effect of being beat so severely. And the Bible said he was beat beyond human recognition. Couldn't even tell he was a man. We do know for certain that the torture that Jesus suffered fulfilled the Old Testament prophecy. So this was what Jesus, he was supposed to do it, but he didn't have to do it. He wanted to do it. In Isaiah 52:14 it says, "As many were astonished at you, his appearance was so marred beyond human resemblance, his form beyond that of the children of mankind. You couldn't even tell he was a person." And we know that he became unrecognizable to the Father, so that we could be and can be recognizable to the Father. Does that make any sense? Jesus became unrecognizable to the Father so that we could become recognizable. Because when we sinned in the garden, Adam and Eve, he was our spokesperson for humankind, okay? When he sinned, God couldn't look upon us because of our sin. Jesus was beaten so bad he couldn't even tell. So like I said, he was beaten beyond recognition, couldn't tell he was a man, so we could be recognized. I'm gonna get back with you. There's a part 2 to this, so stay tuned for why Jesus had to die. God bless you. In Jesus' name. I'll see you later.